I'm going on vacation for a week, visit my in-laws in Idaho with my wife and son, so this will be the last game that I record for a little while. Hopefully it comes out alright. At the end I'll bring up the deck list. Anyway, I'm going to try to just turbo through the 16 or so games that I played this evening, skipping the one where I kept a no lands Chrome Mox hand and cast Brainstorm and found no land on top. Outside of that one that I lost, these are the rest of the games I played for the evening, which were in my recording log. So I'm going to start off with game 1 here against Neo Ableist, who's always a very challenging opponent, someone I enjoy playing. His mono blue deck is extremely disruptive, and he's going first. He also has some sort of knack for going first against me. I haven't figured out. Anyway, so he gets to daze my Arbor Elf. I regrow a Misty so that I can continue to develop, because I know what's coming against him, disruption on mana, and as you can see, he's already interfered with it quite a bit. So we get down Jiraga, and he plays Thassa, which is a window for me to level up, cast Wirewood, Boreal, untap, and Wirewood, Boreal again. So I'm in a great spot now, although this is a little bit frustrating. And I happen to know he's playing, what is it, name a color. It's 4 mana, name a color, Washout. He's playing Washout. 4 mana, name a color, return all permanents of the color to their owner's hands, which is a one-sided, which is a very cheap way to Cyclonic Rift me, basically, at this point in the game, so I really want to get like blue permanents in play if I can. So anyway, I pod into Llanowar Elves, and have to pass because there's just no opportunity now. I'm constantly fearing the white Washout, but I just don't see a way around it here. So he gets to Mew and pod. I was planning to pod up to, hopefully pod up to either flipping an Arrayo against him, and or Viridian Shamaning this Pithing Needle. But so he locks down pod and animates his Thassa. Thassa is surprisingly difficult to deal with. It helps itself. It's probably one of the top blue commanders now. Although it doesn't necessarily draw cards, it does increase card quality. It's extremely hard to deal with. It kills you very quickly. You can't block it. You can't kill it, barring a few things. But now that it's a creature, it is also vulnerable to things like this. So I steal it, and what's interesting is he can't steal it back. So if he has like a treachery or something, he can't take it back. So then I just do a little bit of shenanigans with Wirewood. And if he has, like, say he has Sower and he Sowers my Sower, he doesn't get this back because Sower has to leave play for that to happen. So, also the other interesting thing here is if he Tamiyo's to draw cards, I can just pick up my Elf and he would draw none. So he keeps locking down the pod. But he does have Boomerang for his commander and replays his 5/5 indestructible blocker. So, I just go ahead and top deck Treachery. This deck is so good. Stealing his Thassa, and unfortunately, and actually, it is kind of unfortunate, it's weird, but he's going to be active now, he's a creature. So, I very much would like to pot it away. Perhaps, or perhaps not. So anyway, I Venser and, alright, Vedalken his Venser, and then go ahead and smack his Tamiyo. And now, if he does have the Washout, he could wash out. What does he do? Wash out green. Then I still get to keep his Venser, Thassa, and my Sower. He washes out blue. Then I get my Sower back in my hand and my Treachery. So I'm a lot less afraid of it now. Anyway, he miracles a Temporal Mastery though, with only a few cards left in his hand, which is pretty nice, and plays a Grand Architect. So I just use, since I can use this once per turn, on that turn I pick up and untap my Draga Tree Speaker, so I have a 1/2 blocker for his 1/3, although I also have a 5/5 Indestructible. Mainly I just wanted to have more Elves in my hand for Wirewood Hive Master next turn. He plays a Predict, guesses wrong. I mean, he guesses Island, but without his commander to make Predict awesome, he's unable to hit. He mills off a Parallax Tide and gives up. So that was kind of a sweet game there. Anyway, so now, it was probably one of the hardest games, just because of the disruption early and the potential for disruption that his deck has. Very high level of threat against me at times. So against this prime speaker guy, I go ahead and just keep a really great draw. I'm just turboing through these here. And attack for a couple of cards. And just kill his land, and he gets mad and quits, and that works. Too much tempo there. I suppose he didn't think that his Grim Monoth was going to get it done, so... Super Critical Fuji, who's also another one of those challenging players, is playing Riku here. And I keep a pretty risky draw. I mean, first turn Lightning Bolt, right? But I top deck. And now, barring like Pyroclasm, I'm in the money. And he does not have Pyroclasm, so I'm able to attack and draw a card. And pass. Still not looking stellar here, but if he did Clasm now, I could just cast Vault, Crucible, and get my Dryad Arbor back and slowly rebuild. Fortunately, he doesn't have it, and I've got card drawing, and that's about all she wrote now. Vault comes down, Trinket gets a Crypt, I cast Arayo, and Crypt comes down to flip. And that is a game. So this guy here is playing 93. Another one on my buddies list. Another difficult to play against deck. Also understands this game is about mana and knows how to attack it correctly. But I'm going first, and he gets a Soul Ring. So turn 2 I play Spiketail. That way he can't just get down with Captain Sisei right away. Instead he plays Raphaelos, which really makes my whole scenario here with Spiketail and Mana Leak very weak scenario, but I have Mana Drain, so I go for the Drain. And using that mana, I'm able to cast Hive Master, Jace, bounce his Raphaelos, regrow my Mana Drain, and hit for a card. And the reason I didn't get down with Edric there is because now, by setting him back in tempo, not only will he give me an insect when he recasts his elf, but if he were to play a land and just cast Captain Sisei, then I just bounce it and untap, and 3 counter spells in hand. It's over. Instead he starts casting... He casts Finhorn and uses Finhorn to cast Chord of Calling with Convoke, but he plays it for 3. I think he misses the Spiketail in play. So I get a free counter on that one. Draw a couple of cards and... bounce this guy for tempo and play the Strip Mine so that I have Mana Leak mana. So he Stone Forges and then casts a Greaves, but I have the Leak, and that's it. He gives up. So this time I'm playing against All Know All, someone I haven't really faced before. Not sure what kind of challenge this person will present. They are playing Damia. That's a reasonable commander to be using. And they're going first. Salt Marshes, on the other hand, tell me that they probably haven't had time to complete their mana base properly, because these types of lands don't belong, especially in a world where the scrying lands exist. I mean, if you're going to come in and play tapped land at all, you might as well scry with it. So he's got nothing here, and I'm able to do this. Ramp out, and down comes Crypt, Glen, and he just gives up. I could have played Hermit, but I felt like I was already winning, so just play Glen and leave up both a Mana Drain, the Glen itself, and Sonic Blast. If he had a counter there, I was just going to Mana Drain it, and then I would have Glen ready to go for a Damnation if he had it. But he just gives up there, so that's fine. It's kind of bad when your first 4 turns are land, nothing, land, nothing, land, nothing, land, concede. You definitely have to build a deck with a better mana curve than that. So, like I said though, he looks like he's a little bit new. I get this stellar, Sackland, Crypt, Crucible draw. Also doable with mana Vault as well. Sackland, Vault, Crucible is another great way to start off when it comes to Crucible. But I get to go with it, of course, I have the Oracle, which allows me to replay lands from my graveyard, so now I get to play 2 lands from my graveyard over and over and over. And since they're sack lands, if I don't like the top of my library, I can sack. Of course, I do like a Jite. Don't need a counter. Make myself a breeding pool and play the Jite. Sack into that. Draw a couple of cards and play an Arbor. This is calling Dias. Yeah, I don't know, I suppose it's good in some circumstances. Not this one. Let's draw a position and I don't know what I did here. This looks like it's going to be one of those games that glitches out, but yeah, suffice to say, this turn gets even more disgusting between the Jite, the Oracle, the Edric that's surely coming down. I think what I did was I ended up flipping an Arayo here or something, but yeah, he gives up turn 4. That was just too good of a start. Okay, we got a few more games to get through, so I'm going to go a little quicker here. So this guy's playing Vela, the Clad, Knight, Clad, something. Anyway, so he's also going first. I'm going to lead off with Arbor. Like, if he's got removal, I'd rather have him just kill the Arbor. It's not going to hurt me that bad. And I've got a Bloom Tender in my hand, and that's what I don't want killed. But looks like he doesn't have it, so, or he doesn't have it cheap. Or maybe he decided this was more important. Who knows? Probably top deck the Shriekmaw there, though. So, one good turn deserves another, so I kill his land and develop it. Play Spectre, and I discard Snap. I feel like bouncing that, and this is too slow to matter. So, draw to Glamour. And I'm able to play Oracle, lock into a land off the top. I'll take that. I'll just hang on to the Homeward Path in my hand. Maybe he has Control Magic effect and doesn't need to know about it. Unfortunately, his removal again for Oracle, but for some crazy reason he attacks there. Does he just forget what my commander is? Who knows? I'll take it though. So I draw a couple of cards in my path. He's not even going to be able to steal it. He regrows his Shriekmaw and continues attacking as if life matters. It's just quite silly. So I sour his Cadaver up using Homeward Path's mana so that I don't accidentally click it for one thing. And refill my hand. I'll take a Soul Ring there. So he's going to Shriekmaw here, and I figured he'd kill Sower and just take his guy back. I didn't care that much though, because I have Regrowth. He kills Edric, which is just seemed just horrible, but I see what's going on. You know, he's going to Aether Adapt his Imp. That makes a lot of sense. Now the Sower's not really doing much, and he can Shriekmaw as well. Unfortunately, I draw Sword of Fire and Ice, unfortunately for him. So I trinket into map into Cradle. Good stuff. Down comes Sword. Sword goes on Sower. Sower's no longer worthless, and get in there for some damage. Not worthless, but you know, he was just a 2-2. Now he's a 2-2 with a sword. So he Cadaver Imps and picks up his Spectre again. Or his Shriekmaw, rather. Kills my Sower. But that is all part of the plan. See this card? We are okay with that, so I brainstormed. I figured I would regrow the Sower and then replay it. But then I kind of realized, like, I have much better, cooler, more interesting things going. So the game plan here is cast Strange Hermit, clone Strange Hermit, then 1-2, then tap the Cradle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Tap the Cradle for 13. Try to equip the Phantasmal Image with Sword. It dies, so then I have 11 mana. Regrowth the dead Phantasmal Image, so that leaves me with 9 mana. Cast it using 1, so that leaves me with +1 is 10, -2 is 8 mana. To put a third Deranged Hermit into play. And then with the 8 mana, tap for Transmute Muddle using 5 of it, and then cast Winter Orb using 2 of it, and then 5 and 2 is 7, and tap Llanowar Elf, and use the last one in my pool to slide the Sword of Fire and Ice onto the Trinket Mage. So that was the game plan, but he scoops. Alright, so red man here, playing Rafik of the Many. I'm going to keep this modest hand due to the Wirewood. I'm quite happy about it though. When I'm playing any other green deck, always this card is so tech. It's just ridiculous how good this card is. So since he went and got himself a Remand, I decided I'm not going to run Edric into it. Funny thing is he starts feeding me elves. His turn he plays Nature's Lore. And then I go ahead and go for the Edric, which I then play again and he gives up. I don't really understand that. But yeah, I was about to Ancestral, I suppose that's pretty good reason to give up. Ancestral plus an insect. So this guy here, hello. Oh, Roland Ed played me a few times. He was trying to find a deck he had that would win. And after mulliganing a couple of times, I guess he realizes that wasn't it. So Roland I decides that the deck that he's got that's going to win is Prime Speaker. So we play. And I get to lead off with this, deciding I'm not going to go Spike Tail, I'd rather get the map down. So he goes for Strip Mine, seeing this, and that is my cue to start destroying his mana base as well as develop mine. So I draw a Spike Tail. Of course he kills my thing. I was hoping I would draw a forest here, otherwise it's going to set me back just a little bit. But I do find the forest, because I would have had to map for it. So getting the forest is really amazing because it allows me to sack the map here. And then from there I can cast Crucible without having to play it, I can use my Strip Mine and cast Crucible on the same turn, but what I decide to do is this instead. Just throw a counter on this just because. So he bobbles, and that is going to do it. So down comes Strip, down comes Crucible, and with 2 floating, down comes Winter Orb. He gives up just in the face of Crucible Strip, but yeah, Winter Orb was coming, and that was that. So I play another opponent here, Elgra Padura, playing Skullbriar, the walking pile of uselessness. I used to think this guy was really good, but the problem is, I've revisited that thought, and it's because I started playing decks with creatures in them. Against creatureless decks, Skullbriar's pretty tack, but yeah. In general, I don't really care for it. I'd rather. So anyway, in this game, I just decide I'm gonna slow him down, and then let my deck do the rest of what it needs to do in order to win. So I go ahead and play Crucible. I know that he's gonna be able to play his Skullbriar here. It's okay. Cyclone is Soul Ring, make some more damage, and let him ramp up, and then at the end of his turn, go ahead and just blast his Skullbriar out. And then, using Trinket, I think I used Trinket here. No, Tezzeret. I go get myself a Winter Orb. And now I've got Trinket Mage, I've got a counter spell ready to go. Skullbriar over there costs 6, and he gives up, I guess. See, I figured he'd untap this in a land, maybe you can play a land and then tap, 6 mana and cast it, and I would counter it. Then it would cost 8. And then on my turn, untap these 2 cards. Use a sack land, cast Trinket Mage. Yeah, it was probably done. So I suppose he was right to do that. But let's not make this video too much longer, huh? So here I was playing against Afria Wind. Seems like Afria is the name from a sci-fi novel about dragons. I don't remember the details anymore. Dragons? No. Same author though. The Rowan. That series. I don't know if anyone's familiar with it. Anyway, so he plays turn 1 Sarah Ascendant, but he's going second. And what I want to try to do is I want to try to steal it, but I don't want to steal it when it's going to be a 1-1. So my goal here is to try to protect my life and stay above 30. So I start out by snapping it and drawing some cards. This time he's got a nice curve with the Stark Steel Ascendant. So I draw a position, but you'll note that I don't have a second blue, so I'll go ahead and just bounce this guy with Rift and draw a few more cards. And there's a sackland, so I'm able to play this and this. And he plays Hallowed Burial. Should be pretty good, right? And he kills my Edric and like 5 other cards. Well, I mean, it is. But unlike, and I've said it before, this deck is your atypical Edric deck. It does not necessarily require Edric to win. So he recurs his Hallowed Burial. And his commander's coming up to bat here soon. Plays a Clamp and clamps his Ascendant, so just in case you thought I might be shackling it, probably not going to happen. So I sack and draw that. How lovely. So Treachery comes down, and then Opposition comes down specifically because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy costs 7. Now I can keep him off that for a turn, and I also have Mystical Tutor ready to go. So he's basically cycles a card. Gains 3 life. Okay. And flips his junky thing here, so it all damage that would be dealt to creatures he controls will be prevented. That's nice. Anyway, so end of turn, I Mystical Tutor for 5 creatures. Swing, and now I can use my Sackland, and then here comes my Deranged Hermit. Love being able to Mystical Tutor for Deranged Hermit. It's kind of awesome. So Opposition starts doing what Opposition does, and he gets 2 colorless mana for the turn and gives up. Or she. So now I'm playing against Falsti. I've got 2 more to go. Playing Jor Kadin the Prevailer. And I have a pretty reasonable hand if he doesn't have removal, but he's in the, removal strong colors here. But still, like, if I play first turn Elf, second turn, tap these 2 cards and cast Scrib, pick up the Forest, untap the Elf, play the Forest, tap the Forest for the Clamp, and then most likely just go ahead and just clamp the Scrib right on the spot. I'll probably draw lands at that point. I'd be in fine shape. But I start top decking land, so no need to even mess with all that. So he arrests my guy for a turn. Kind of interesting. Instead I'm able to play Oracle and luck into a land there. And I don't play Clamp just because I had plans with the Mystical Tutor, apparently. I don't know what they were, but whatever they were, he plays Phyrexian Rebirth, destroys all creatures, and he gets a XX equal to the power of the creatures he controls. Of course, we knew there was land on top, so I didn't shuffle there. I just waited for the Treachery and completely rebuild my board. He's able to play Iron Mirror, Porcelain Legionnaire, not a problem. So I go ahead and play Edric and send them all in. Drawing a bunch of cards and playing Clamp. So he gets this guy down, and kills Edric, and he's got Metalcraft going over there. So Edric's 7, I'll just leave him out of the way for now. So Garrett comes down, and I start drawing cards. Draw cards, draw cards, draw cards. And this is a temp card. This really needs to be Cloud of Fairies, but for now, it's a Spell Stutter Sprite. So I wouldn't have had this card right there, although it doesn't matter too much with a Crucible. So here comes like a bunch of damage, and I just throw Jumpers in front. No big deal there. And to turn the Scrib, so hey, now I can counter 2 casting cost spells with Spell Stutter Sprite, should that come up. But I've got things to do first, so he has a hexproof big guy. And I figure what I'll do is I'll just go get Arbor, block and then use Crucible Arbor to just continuously block this every turn. Other than that, though, everything else is getting locked down, and I'm feeling pretty good. And then he casts this thing, and decide in response I'm going to tap that. I don't mind trading here, though. So he sends that. I do the exact play that I was discussing, get the Arbor, block. I use the Arbor to tap his planes, and then it dies, but it's no big deal because of Crucible. And then end of turn I tap this. I failed to tap this in response, which I should have done, so I'm not able to do that now. But I am able to get some counters on a Jite in the air, and then move a clamp over to the beast and leave a Spellstutter Sprite counter up. And he foolishly sends all of his guys, so I don't know if you see what's going to happen here. Give you a moment. Don't want to make the video too much longer. But yeah, untap the Scrib. So Arbor is just going to do what it's already doing. A beast is going to draw me some cards here. Scrib gets in front of this, and because he sent like them at me instead of Garrick, I don't even have to block this at all. So I don't. So his Leonin Abunus, well, first Scrib becomes a 5/5 to kill his 4/1 Iron Mirror. Leonin, then I go ahead and just use my blocker, who's going to die, to tap some of his mana. So Leonin Abunus dies, or takes 4 damage. Arbor dies, just the Arbor. I take some pointless damage and draw some cards. And then that, oops. Now his Abunus is dead. Oops, now his Legionnaire is dead. And he realizes how horrible that play was. I didn't even have to do any tricks or anything. It was all on the board. He gives up. That's fine. So, Edric versus Karthus could be interesting. So I lead off with Mystic, Arbor, Elves, Edric. And he gets a little bit of land out, but I attack for a card, and I would plan to Green Sun Zenith for 9, and then I rip Trastodon. So probably what I should have done was played Vault, a land, and then cast Green Sun Zenith for 6 and put Drained Tournament into play, and then tap this for 8 and cast Trastodon. That was the actual best possible play here, and I realized right after I cast the Draga that I could no longer make that play, so I went ahead and just did this. Oops. It doesn't matter, he gives up. That's fine. So, last game, another Skullbriar. I guess this might have been the same guy. I don't know if it was the same game. I hope not. Don't remember how that one went down. No, I don't think it is. So I get first turn Elf, he gets Infiltration Lens, and I kill it. And now he can't even send his terrible 1/1 in, so he has to Shriek Maw of Viridian Shaman. So I brainstorm there to clean up my hand a little bit and get a Wirewood Symbiote. So now, if he attacks with his Skullbriar, I'm just going to block with Finhorn Elves and pick it up. But he has Green Sun Zenith for 1, so I float a green for no reason whatsoever and pick up my elf. He gets to kill all of 1 Wirewood Symbiote. So I play Cavern Souls naming Elf, play Edric Elf, and I have a 2/2 again. So he draws a couple of cards. Skullbriar, really good unless your opponent has a 1/1 or a 2/2, in which case it's crap. Anyway, so I draw a couple of cards here. Go get myself a Gaia's Cradle and sack Edric and go fetch Oracle so I can play more land. And I will go get an Arbor if he happens to have removal for Oracle, and then play Skullbriar and swings. I'll just go get Arbor and block. So that was the plan there. But he just gives up. I mean, yeah, what are you going to do with your little 1/1 over there? So that was all my games. This is the deck list that I use. I do hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. And like I said, I'll be gone for a week, so I'll see you next time. But next time will probably be a little while.